How did ancient humans throw a party? Think about the last good party you went to. The food, the music, the drink. Too many people in one room, laughing too loud. It feels modern, doesn't it? A luxury on top of the serious business of survival. Now here is the surprise. The party might be older than the farm, older than the city, older than almost everything we think of as civilization. So how and why did ancient humans throw a party? The answer is buried on a hilltop in Turkey, and it rewrites the order in which everything happened. The place is called Göbekli Tepe. It is in southern Turkey, and it is staggeringly old, around 11,000 to 12,000 years old. To put that in perspective, it is roughly 6,000 years older than Stonehenge, and 7,000 years older than the Great Pyramid. It is a series of huge stone enclosures, with massive carved pillars, some standing over 5 meters tall and weighing up to 10 tons, decorated with carvings of foxes, snakes, scorpions, and vultures. And it was built by hunter-gatherers, people with no farming, no metal, no writing, no cities. People who, by the old story, should not have been able to build anything like it at all. For a long time, the story of civilization went like this. First, humans learned to farm. Farming gave them surplus food. Surplus food let them settle in towns. Towns gave them the spare time and organization to build big monuments and to gather for feasts and religion. Farming came first, and the party came much, much later. Göbekli Tepe turns that story upside down. Because at Göbekli Tepe, the monument came first. Hunter-gatherers, who were still living off wild plants and wild animals, gathered in large numbers to build this enormous site. And around those stones, archaeologists have found the evidence of truly massive feasting. The bones of huge numbers of wild animals, gazelle and aurochs and deer, brought to the site and eaten. Tens of thousands of animal bones. This was not a quiet family meal. This was a feast on an industrial scale. Consider the scale of the work itself. Moving a single 10-ton pillar with no wheels, no metal tools, and no draft animals would have taken hundreds of people pulling together. Estimates suggest each major pillar needed perhaps 500 people to move and raise it. So before the feast, there was the gathering, hundreds of people from scattered bands across the region coming to one hilltop, working together for weeks. And a workforce that size has to be fed. You cannot ask 500 people to haul stone all day on an empty stomach. The feast was not just a celebration of the building. The feast was the fuel that made the building possible. And there may have been drink. At Göbekli Tepe, archaeologists found huge stone vessels, some able to hold up to 160 liters. And inside, a few of them were chemical traces that some researchers believe are the residue of fermentation. The signs, possibly of an early kind of beer. Now, this is still debated, and it is not certain. But the idea is extraordinary. It raises one of the most surprising questions in all of archaeology. What if we did not start farming to make bread? What if we started farming to make beer? Think about it. To throw a feast this big, again and again, for the crowds who gathered to build the monument, you need a reliable supply of food and drink in one place. Hunting and gathering is unpredictable. But if you could grow grain near the site, you could guarantee the feast. Some archaeologists now seriously argue that the desire to gather, to feast, and perhaps to drink together may have been one of the things that pushed humans to start farming in the first place. The party may not be the reward for civilization. The party may be the reason for it. So tell me in the comments, where did you do the party last time? And it makes a strange kind of sense because of what a feast actually does. Bringing hundreds of people together is hard. They argue, they compete. They come from different bands who may not trust each other. A great feast with shared food and shared work and shared drink is a powerful glue. It bonds strangers into a community. It creates obligation and friendship. It is how you turn a crowd into a people. The feast was not a distraction from the serious work of building society. The feast was the tool that built it. And once you start looking, the ancient world is full of parties. The Egyptians, thousands of years ago, threw lavish feasts with music, dancing, and so much wine and beer that tomb paintings cheerfully show guests being sick or being carried home. They did not hide it. They painted it on the walls for eternity. One ancient Egyptian drinking song urged people to celebrate while they still could. They knew how to let go. In fact, the Egyptians held a festival that may be the wildest party in recorded history. It was called the Festival of Drunkenness, held to honor a goddess, and the entire point was to drink to excess, sometimes to the point of passing out, then be woken by drums and music. Records of it go back over 3,500 years, and one inscription describes thousands of people taking part. This was not shameful. It was sacred. A whole society, once a year, gathering to drink, dance, and lose themselves together on purpose as an act of worship. We did not invent the wild night out. We inherited it from people who built it into their religion. Let us talk about Greeks. The Greeks had the symposium, which literally means drinking together. Men would gather, recline on couches, and drink wine, watered down, through long nights of conversation, music, games, and debate. Some of the greatest philosophy in history was, quite literally, party talk. One of Plato's most famous works is simply called The Symposium, and it is a record of the conversation at a drinking party around 2,400 years ago. They even had a party game called Kodabos, flinging the last drops of wine from your cup at a target across the room. Drunk, competitive, and 2,400 years old. The Romans took feasting to spectacular extremes, with banquets that could run for hours, course after course, with entertainers and music and wine flowing the whole time. A wealthy Roman host might serve dozens of dishes across a single evening, from flamingo tongues to honeyed dormice, all to show off his generosity and status. And the throwing of a great public feast was almost everywhere a source of power. A leader who could feed the people, who could throw the biggest feast, gained status and loyalty. Across countless cultures, generosity was the path to greatness. The chief was the one who gave the most away. The feast was politics. It was religion. It was diplomacy. It was how alliances were sealed and gods were honored and grief was shared after a death. The party was never trivial. It was one of the most important things a society did. There was music, too, woven through all of it. We have found bone flutes that are 40,000 years old. We have found the remains of harps and lyres in ancient graves, including a beautiful one at the city of Ur, around 4,500 years old. Wherever there were people gathering, there was rhythm and singing and dancing around a fire. The instruments rotted away mostly, but the post holes of ancient gathering places, the worn ground where people danced, the bones of the feast, all of it tells the same story. Humans gathered and ate and drank and made music and lost themselves in a crowd, for as long as there have been humans. So here's the thought to sit with. We tend to think a party is a small thing, a break from real life, something you earn after the work is done. But the evidence in the ground says the opposite. The urge to gather, to feast, to celebrate together may be one of the deepest and oldest forces in our entire story. It may have helped pull us out of small wandering bands and into the great shared project of civilization itself. We did not build society and then learn to party. We may have partied and built society to keep the party going, and you carry that with you. The next time you are in a crowded room, music too loud, food and drink being passed around, everyone laughing together, understand what you're actually doing. You are performing one of the oldest rituals of our species, the same thing the hunter-gatherers did on that Turkish hilltop 11,000 years ago, around their carved stone pillars, with their roasted gazelle and their great vats of early beer. The setting changed completely. The deep human reason for it did not change at all. We gather because gathering is who we are. So tell me in the comments and subscribe to the channel now. What is the best party or celebration you have ever been to? And do you think we throw parties for fun or for something much deeper that we have simply forgotten the name of?